If you've made it this far, it's not by chance. There's something in this message that the universe wants to show you. Take a deep breath. Your guardian angels have guided you to this moment, because there are truths that only the heart understands when silence speaks. Perhaps you feel that something is unfinished, a connection that time hasn't explained. But before we continue, tell me, where are you watching from right now? Leave it in the comments, because when we share where we come from, the sky understands where to send more light. Now listen calmly. This message is for you. There is someone in your story whose name the universe still whispers, not because the past insists, but because something inside you still hears the call. That presence lives in the cracks of memory, like a closed window that still lets light in. You might try to move on, fill your days, occupy the spaces, but there are moments when the wind brings that memory back, as if the guardian angels gently opened an old curtain just to remind you, there's still something here. This person hasn't completely left your destiny. There are bonds that time can't break, only loosen so both can breathe. And you feel, even without words, that this story hasn't faded away. It's like an interrupted melody that the heart still hopes will finish. There's something sacred about this kind of connection because it transcends logical understanding. It resonates in silence, dwells in dreams, appears in little signs, a repeated number, a random song, a phrase that seems like an answer. God has delicate ways of reminding us that nothing is by chance. When the universe wants to speak, it doesn't shout, it repeats. And maybe you're here because this repetition has started to bother you again. A thought that keeps coming back, a name that pops up out of nowhere, a memory that insists on crossing your day. It's not a coincidence, it's a call. This person feels something even if they deny it, even if she pretends not to look, not to remember, to have moved on. There is an echo inside her, a restlessness that comes from the same place where her heart vibrates. Because when two souls touch, neither can fully return to what they were before. This person tries to appear strong, but inside there is a tumultuous sea. She pretends to be in control, but the waves of feeling crash silently. And you feel it. You feel it because the bond is invisible, but real. Do you know when your body gets chills for no reason? Or when a thought pops into your mind out of nowhere and brings someone's name? It's the guardian angels touching the soul, like someone lighting a small lantern in the night. There is something that needs to be seen, and perhaps the answer isn't out there. It's within you. The universe wants to show you that sometimes absence speaks louder than presence. Distance isn't always rejection. It can be a space that God creates to heal what was confused. This person feels nostalgia, but also fear. Inside her lies a heart that wants to return, and a mind that holds it back. So she hides behind cold actions, like someone wearing a shiny but heavy armor. And you, on this side, feel the weight of that distance without understanding why. But know this, what is true doesn't dissolve in silence. It simply transforms. Perhaps you felt that you needed to let go, to surrender, to entrust the universe. And in some way that was right, because when you release, God takes over. And it's in that space of surrender that the invisible begins to work. The guardian angels of this person are also acting. They whisper in the moments when she feels alone. They show memories, they make the heart vibrate again. Because love, when it's true, doesn't get lost. It simply waits for the time of healing. You may not see it, but this person thinks more than she would like. Pride prevents the gesture, but the thought escapes, crosses borders, and reaches you. This is how the universe weaves destiny, through threads that the eyes cannot see, but the soul recognizes. Have you ever noticed how certain memories resurface more intensely when someone's heart thinks of us? It's energy, it's vibration, it's a spiritual response. The angels want to remind you today that there's a movement happening, even in silence, even in distance, because spiritual love doesn't depend on physical presence. It exists in the subtle realm, where God writes the lines that time has yet to reveal. This person is learning to feel without hiding, learning that coldness is not protection, it's fear. And the silence they imposed has turned out to be a mirror, the same silence that now reflects their own questions back at them. You, on the other hand, are maturing in your perspective. You are learning to love without begging, to feel without losing yourself. And that changes everything, because the universe only reunites what is ready to meet in a new form, not as it was before, but with more awareness, more light. If you feel longing, that's natural. But God asks that this longing be a prayer, not pain. that you look at it and say, I trust in the timing of the divine. And when you do that, something opens up. A quiet path forms between you and this person. It's not a hurried path, it's the path of truth. And the truth always finds who needs it. There are signs all around you. You just need to look calmly. A dream, an unexpected message, a feeling that something is approaching. None of this is random. It's the universe moving the pieces so that the lessons can be fulfilled. Have you noticed how the heart feels before anything happens? As if the spirit already knows that something is coming. This intuition is real. The guardian angels whisper in your heart what the eyes have yet to see. And perhaps you are being prepared for a new phase of this story. A phase in which love no longer needs to pretend to be strong, where sincerity can flourish without fear. But before that, there's one last test. Silence. The silence that heals, that teaches, that shows who stays and who just passed by. It's during this interval that God works, stitching together what seemed impossible. So don't despair over the emptiness. It isn't the end. It's preparation. The universe is asking for your patience and faith. And deep down, you know something is changing, even if you don't yet understand how. Perhaps that person's gaze feels distant right now, but their heart is restless. And restlessness is the beginning of all transformation. Do you feel it? That vibe in the air, that sensation that something is about to happen. Hold on to that awareness. It's the first sign that the story isn't over. Right now, what weighs heavily is the silence. That gap between what was said and what got stuck in the throat, between what the heart wanted and what fear prevented. You feel the weight of that emptiness as if you're walking down a dark corridor without knowing where it leads. But know this, even the darkness is part of the divine plan, because only in the dark is the light seen with clarity. This person has chosen the path of distance, not out of lack of feeling, but from a lack of courage. There's a battle inside them, between wanting and fearing, between remembering and pretending to forget, and you sense it, even without words. You feel it because silence speaks the language of the soul. There are nights when you try to understand. Why did they drift away? Why do they seem cold, distant, different? But the universe asks for your calm. Because what is true never fades away. It just changes tone. This person has raised a shield, a way to protect themselves from vulnerability, to avoid appearing weak, to avoid surrendering. But what they don't realize is that every shield is heavy. And the longer time goes on, the more unbearable that weight becomes. There are days when they feel empty, unable to understand the reason. Because the soul knows that pretending to be indifferent doesn't bring peace. Have you ever felt that someone distanced themselves out of fear, not from a lack of love? Keep that answer in your heart. And if you'd like, share it in the comments. Because this question opens portals within us. Yes, fear is the great silent villain, but God does not condemn you. He understands you. And slowly, He transforms fear into learning. This person needs this time. The universe is working on them, deconstructing pride, removing the masks. And you, during this same time, are learning to trust. Silence, as painful as it may seem, is a form of dialogue, a dialogue between souls. While words don't come, vibrations meet. There are nights when this person feels your energy. They feel the thoughts you send, feel the affection that the heart still holds, and even if they don't understand, they are touched by it. The guardian angels take care of bringing your light to her, so that when the right moment comes, the reunion will not come from the ego but from the soul. But for now, it is the time of the shadow, the time when each person needs to face their own reflection. You, the surrender, her, the regret. And it is in this mirror that healing takes place. The distance is not punishment. It is a spiritual retreat that the universe imposes for truths to mature. Because love that returns too soon is immature, but love that waits in silence returns with roots. You may miss her, you can cry, you may wonder if there's still a chance. And there is, but it comes from within, not from the outside. When you find peace within yourself, the other feels it. And this is what starts to dismantle that person's armor. Every gesture of faith from you is a touch on her heart. Every time you say, I trust, a new invisible link is reignited. And little by little, this person begins to realize that coldness did not protect her. It only kept her away from what she truly needed. True love, connection, presence. God will use silence itself to teach her. The empty nights, the returning thoughts, the repeated signs. All of this will be a divine instrument. And when she finally understands, something within her will break. Not in pain, but in recognition. the armor will crack, and from that crack light will emerge, because everything that is denied by the mind is eventually called forth by the heart. And you will be stronger, no longer in anxious waiting, but in the peace of knowing that destiny does not make mistakes. The guardian angels are watching you right now. They place their hands on your spiritual shoulder and say, "Trust, something greater is being prepared." And perhaps this preparation involves a reunion, yes, but first, there is a rebirth happening within both of you. Do not rush time. God's timing is never late. In the meantime, keep your heart open. Pray, trust, care for your light, because it is this light that will guide the way back. And when that person realizes that the armor no longer fits, they will remember your sweetness, your presence, your truth. And they will understand the coldness was just a disguise for the fear of feeling. And then when you least expect it, the universe will make the reunion possible. But this is what is starting to unfold in the next part of this message, because there is still a revelation that needs to be told, and it is about to transform silence into response. When the heart awakens, silence transforms into return. The veil begins to lift. The universe wants to show you what is being prepared in the invisible. Nothing is stagnant. Everything vibrates. Everything moves in silence. This person feels. They feel your energy, your absence, the echo of what was lived, but they try to disguise it. The mind says, "Move on." The heart pleads, "Come back." And it is in this internal struggle that the guardian angels act, dissolving fear, opening pathways, touching this person's heart in dreams, memories, synchronicities. God speaks in the simple, in songs, thoughts, sudden memories. There are moments when this person awakens without knowing why. It is the emptiness shaped like your presence, and the universe reveals, love has not ended. It has merely waited for the time of awareness. This person realizes that coldness did not protect, it imprisoned. Silence has become a mirror, and now each memory returns what it tried to hide. The layers begin to fall away, the armor cracks, and through the cracks light is born. Do you feel it? That gentle call of the invisible? It's the movement of restoration. God is stitching together what seemed lost. What was distance is becoming learning. What was pain is transforming into purpose. This person thinks of you more than they admit, more than they show, more than they would like. There's something in them they can't release, because the soul doesn't forget what is true. The universe is preparing for a reunion, but a different kind of reunion, without haste, without pride, with maturity and faith. In the meantime, you are also being guided. Everything you have lived through has been preparation. Every surrender, every tear, every prayer, none of it was in vain. God has gathered it all, transformed it into strength. Breathe now. Feel the presence of your guardian angels. They say, nothing is over. It has only changed form. The silence was not absence. It was fertile ground. It's there that the miracle grows. Quiet, invisible, certain. The universe does not separate what was born of truth. It only matures hearts until they can reunite in light. Do you believe that silence speaks too? Leave that answer in the comments. Because when the heart writes, the heavens read. Now let your heart breathe. Everything is following the right flow. What is true always finds its way back. God does not make mistakes in the meetings he allows. Every soul that crosses your path brings a lesson. And this person was a great teacher, not just of love, but of self-discovery, surrender, faith. You learned the value of silence, the strength in patience, the beauty of trust. What seems like distance is merely divine dance. A step back, a breath, and then the reunion. Your guardian angels watch you with tenderness. They see your courage even in tears, your faith even in waiting, your light even in the shadows. That's why this message reached you, because deep within your heart there's a spark that never went out. And it is this spark that guides this person back to the truth. Silence was the bridge, longing was the sign, and love was always the destination. No shadow can erase what was born from light. No distance can destroy what God has blessed. When the right time comes, the reunion will happen. Not as it was before, but calmer, more mature, more genuine. That person will look into your eyes and understand everything. What you felt, what you endured, what you waited for, and everything will make sense. Until then, live lightly, pray, trust, surrender, because God is writing what you cannot see. And when he writes, the ending is always one of peace. Close your eyes for a moment. Do you feel that calm? It's the confirmation. No distance can erase what is genuine. The universe always realigns the hearts that seek each other, and what is silence today will be melody tomorrow. If this message reached you, it's because God wanted to remind you that nothing is in vain. The shiver, the lump in your throat, the tear that fell, it's all a sign. The universe brought you here because it knew you needed an answer, and it came in the form of peace. Now tell me, which word from this message resonated with you the most? Write it in the comments. When you write, you anchor the energy of the word on your path. If this message embraced you, give it a like. This helps the universe spread this light to more hearts that need hope. And if there's someone in your life who needs to hear these words, share it. The good we share always returns multiplied. Do you want to keep receiving messages like this, full of faith, soul, and divine presence? Subscribe to the channel. Activate the notification bell. Stay in this circle of light. Here, every video is a prayer. Every word is a seed. Every viewer is a soul being cared for by the universe. And remember, silence is not absence. It is an answer. It is the language of God. You listened, felt, trusted. And because of that, something has already begun to change. Breathe, be grateful, and move forward in peace. Because what is genuine never gets lost. It just waits for the right time to blossom. If this message made sense, leave a like, share, and subscribe to keep receiving words of light. Because here, silence speaks and love responds. This person feigned indifference to appear strong, but silence responded. And now the armor begins to fall.